Muy buenos días a todos y a todas. Bueno, buenos días no, buenas tardes. Continuamos aquí un nuevo día en Twix con los directos de Dragon Age. Ya nos queda poco para terminar este primer juego. Espero que los que os decidáis por visualizarlo os entretenga y os guste. Y quien no, pues nada, lo siento mucho. Bueno, pues... ¿Eh? ¿Cómo que aquí? ¿Cómo que aquí? Si nosotros habíamos dejado anoche el grupo en el campamento. Vamos a ver, esta es a las 3, a las 3:20. Yo es que flipo, vamos. Permíteme un segundito, chico, porque voy a ver porque es que esto ya es pamear y no es chargota, vamos. Esto es pamear y no es chargota. Puesto galleto, esto lo hicimos una cosa más y dejamos el juego guardado en el campamento. Y ahora resulta que estamos otra vez aquí en el castillo. Ay, un segundito, por favor. Vamos a ver. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. segundo porque tengo que ver, a ver. Vamos a ver. Esto es increíble, vamos. Lo que me está pasando a mí con el puto juego este, esto, vamos, esto es... Esto no se lo cree nadie, vamos. Bueno, un segundito. Venga, pues nada. Venga, pues vamos a hacer rápido lo último que hicimos ayer, que fue hablar con el cadáver este. Se actualizó la misión. Historia de Pico del Soldado 4. Se actualizó la misión. Ahí ahora nos pedía encontrar el escondite secreto del comandante. Que eso, como todos pudisteis ver en el vídeo de ayer, estaba ya aquí abajo. Estaba en el castillo. Venga. Bien, aquí hablamos con el caballero este.
Welcome back, Warden. As you can see, we've been busy. Cleaned the place up a bit. Even my brother Mikhail came out of hiding. Never will you find a
Ayer
fine smith.
tuvimos el
Also
problema
got some goods stored
con
here
él
that might interest you. Buy them now before my cousins move it all someplace else.
de que le decíamos que nos mostrara sus mercancías y las veces que lo intentamos no salía nada. Vamos a ver ahora, hombre. Muéstrame tu
Certainly.
mercancía. Pues esto sigue igual. No nos muestra mercancías ninguna. Bueno, vamos a terminar de hacer lo del tema del cuadrito. Que estaba aquí en el cuadro. Teníamos que ver esto. Le hacíamos el rezo del juramento de los guardas grises. Salía el cofre. Venga, y cogíamos el loop. Venga, y ya una vez que hacíamos esto, nos fuimos. Vale, la salida estaba por allí. Por aquí. Y listo, pues aquí lo dejamos supuestamente ayer, ¿vale? Venga, pues nada. Nos vamos al campamento. Aquí estamos. Vamos a guardar partida. Bien. Bueno, pues ya que estamos aquí, vamos a hablar con la gente.
Something I can help with?
Quiero hablarte de algo.
Yes? What's on your mind?
¿Cuándo decidiste venir a Ferelden?
My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated, and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais, and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it.
¿Qué fue de tu madre?
Mother died when I was very
Murió
young.
cuando era pequeña, vale.
Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother.
Es una pena, ya no está.
She was my mother. I just wish I had a little something to remember her by. Maybe you just don't
No te
understand.
enfades, hombre, reina, no te
Forget I
enfades.
said anything. This is my trouble, not yours.
¿Qué reputación tiene Cecilia con nosotros? O sea, Liliana. Un 97. ¿Tendremos algo por aquí? Por si sube. Mira, la cerveza esta se la vamos a dar al enano.
By my ancestors, this is a wonderful gift.
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind?
¿Echas algo de menos de Orlais?
I miss Valroyaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Valroyaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Valroyaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the grand cathedral. It was magnificent.
Nunca he estado en Orlais.
If you get the chance, you should see it, at least Valroyaux. Of course there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. And you will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais.
¿Qué clase de cosas?
Dresses, fine dresses and furs, and shoes, of course. One can't mingle with nobility with bad shoes, you see. Orlais is very fashionable, almost ridiculously so. But the shoes, living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes.
En Denerim se pueden conseguir zapatos muy bonitos.
Perhaps. Ferelden folk are so much more practical. I don't see them making use of something simply for its looks. When I left Orlais, the fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps, or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring.
Oh, qué maravilla.
I had my eye on a pair my shoemaker was working on. It was covered in pale blue silk, with amber beads on the toe. The shoes made in Orlais were exquisite. Not at all like these clunky, fur-lined leather boots you have in Ferelden. Ugh, just look at them.
Vamos a ver. Tú no necesitas zapatos elegantes para estar preciosa.
Thank you. It's kind of you to say so, even wearing these mud-covered horrors. They're sturdy shoes, but sometimes a girl just wants to have pretty feet. Oh, I could talk about shoes all day, but we have things to do, don't we?
Vale. Mira, tenemos allí el golem, que no hemos hablado con él.
I have a question for it, if it will indulge me. My understanding is that it encountered the smith named Caradin, he who was responsible for the creation of the golems, that he had become a golem himself. What I do not know is what became of him. Why did he not return with it? I would have many questions for him.
Lo siento muchísimo, se suicidó.
He killed himself? Ah, I would doubt it, but no. I see it is telling the truth. May I ask what became of the Anvil of the Void, assuming that it too still existed?
Fue destruido, como quiso Caridin.
Then it was no doubt for the best. With Caradin also goes any chance I might have had of finding answers on my past, I assume. Tell me, did it find out anything from Caradin? Anything at all about how I might have been made?
El yunque creaba golems a partir de almas vivas.
Meaning that I was once a living creature? That seems highly unlikely, and more than a little insulting. Is it certain?
No es mi intención insultarte, Shale.
Was I forced into this? Or simply glad to abandon a frail body? And more importantly, who was I? I simply must know. I cannot help but believe that answers lie elsewhere in the deep roads. We must look.
¿Algún lugar concreto?
Yes, no, I don't know. If it can search the deep roads, I may remember something. If not, then I will have to wait.
Hombre, nos ha dado una misión. Memorias de un golem. Busca pistas sobre la historia de Shale. Shale te ha pedido que explores los caminos de las profundidades en busca de pistas sobre el pasado del golem. Pues nada, perfecto. Nuestra amiga Morrigan,
What do
¿qué?
you wish of me?
Me gustaría hablar de un tema personal.
We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
¿Por qué sigues aquí?
You helped me avoid the fate my mother had in store for me. At the very least, I think I can aid you in return. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
No, no quiero que te vayas.
Then I assume our discussion ends here.
Joder, Morrigan, la hostia, tío. 10 puntos menos. Cada vez te ponen más arisca, ¿eh? No se puede hablar contigo, vamos. Tendríamos que hacer cataplasma. ¿Cuánta pasta tenemos? 102 de oro. Y tenemos... Vamos a comprar frascos.
If there's anything I can do for you, please, please tell me. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Agente de destilación. Vale. Morrigan, Chocho, ven conmigo, anda. Vamos a crear...
Indeed.
Vamos a crear unas pociones, anda. Otra batallita.
We must not exhaust our supplies.
Vaya por Dios.
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind? Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
¿Conoces alguna historia de Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais.
Suena interesante.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
Prosigue, por favor.
Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered.
¿Ganó el torneo?
Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the jousts, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
¡Qué horror!
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Orlais so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
Vale, venga, mejor sigamos. Venga, guardado, para que no nos pase como antes.
Pull up a drink, Warden. Join me in my sodding hole.
¿Te preocupa algo?
Nah, just tired is all. Did you want to talk about something?
Me gustaría saber más cosas sobre ti.
What about?
¿Te gusta la superficie?
It's sodding great. At first I was a little queasy with all that air, but there's just so much of it. No one has any idea who you are or what you're doing. And the ale? Oh, who'd have thought ale made with grain? Aye, the surface is great. It's like a big, bright world of filth without a ceiling. My kind of place. Hey, let's go find something to kill, huh? All this talk makes my hands twitchy.
Venga. Volvemos a guardar. Ahora vamos a hablar con Wayne.
Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower?
¿Por qué lo preguntas?
You are younger than I, and your nerves yet have some steel in them. Did you feel any fear facing the abominations?
Un poco, pero nunca me he permitido flaquear.
The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them that frightened me the most.
Tú eres una gran maga, nunca te convertirás en una abominación.
Every mage is vulnerable, no matter how accomplished or powerful. That is the first thing we learn, and overconfidence can lead to recklessness. One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone, replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say.
¿Lo dudas?
Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured, or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity.
¿Y por qué te preocupa tanto eso, por cierto?
Because every mage lives with this threat. It is constantly on our minds. Do not trouble yourself, though. This is only an old lady giving voice to her musings.
Bueno. Hemos hablado con estos tres. Vamos a hablar ahora con Alistair.
Something on your mind? Of course.
¿Por qué seguiste con los templarios si odiabas la capilla?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
En ese caso deberías haberte hecho mago.
Oh, you aren't kidding. I think the Templar uniforms are as colorful as they are just so the Templars didn't feel dull in comparison. Last thing you want when you're about to take down some Maleficar out in the woods is to have him point and laugh at your taste in clothing, am I right?
¿Y cuál es el verdadero motivo?
You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
No tienes por qué contármelo, era simple curiosidad.
I suppose there's no harm in it then. Sorry if I was being perverse. I'm just not used to anyone asking me these things. The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
¿Qué es lo que disfrutabas del entrenamiento?
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
La Torre del Círculo de los Hechiceros fue mi hogar durante mucho tiempo.
But it's not your home anymore, right? You can never go back for good. I think I understand how you feel. We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Although that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good, either way.
Se puede reconstruir la orden.
I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
Vale. Venga, ahora Steam.
Yes.
¿Qué estabas haciendo en esa jaula?
Sitting, as you observed.
No es eso lo que quería decir.
It's what you asked.
No te caigo muy bien, ¿verdad?
Warden, if I truly disliked you, I would leave. That I am still here, you may interpret however you choose.
¿Vas a responder a mi pregunta?
I did. Parshera, was there anything else?
Quería hablar sobre algo que has mencionado.
Speak, then.
Bueno,
I
pues nada.
suggest we move on.
Tengo una pregunta.
I am hardly surprised.
En realidad no
Very
importa.
well. As you wish.
What do you wish of me?
Vamos a ver. Me gustaría hablar de un tema
We're in
personal.
camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
¿Por qué sigues aquí?
You helped me avoid the fate my mother had in store for me. At the very least, I think I can aid you in return. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
No, no quiero que te vayas.
Then I assume our discussion ends here.
Vamos a cargar partida. Y vamos a hablar de nuevo con ella.
What do you wish of me?
Me gustaría preguntarte algo.
If you must.
¿Creciste en la espesura de Corcari?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
Tú puedes tantearme cuando quieras.
Beg pardon then while I jump for joy. What is it you asked if I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
Me resulta difícil imaginármelo.
I am no primitive, painted in blood and unable to speak the language. Flemeth knows much of your world and taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
¿Saliste mal parada?
Was I hurt? What manner of simpering weakling do you take me for? Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped, and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
Eso sí que es pensar con rapidez.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
¿Te molestaban los tocamientos?
At least with that sort of touching, I would have been able to intuit the intent with far greater ease. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Pese a ello estás aquí.
Yes, here I am. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Vale, ha subido 4 puntitos, hombre, menos mal. Venga, y por último vamos a hablar con el golem.
I have a question for it, if it will indulge me. My understanding is that it encountered the smith named Caradin, he who was responsible for the creation of the golems, that he had become a golem himself. What I do not know is what became of him. Why did he not return with it? I would have many questions for him.
Lo siento muchísimo, se suicidó.
He killed himself? Ah, I would doubt it, but no. I see it is telling the truth. May I ask what became of the Anvil of the Void, assuming that it too still existed?
Fue destruido como quiso Caradin.
Then it was no doubt for the best. With Caradin also goes any chance I might have had of finding answers on my past, I assume. Tell me, did it find out anything from Caradin? Anything at all about how I might have been made?
El yunque creaba golems a partir de almas vivas.
Meaning that I was once a living creature? That seems highly unlikely, and more than a little insulting. Is it certain?
No es mi intención insultarte, Shale.
Was I forced into this? Or simply glad to abandon a frail body? And more importantly, who was I? I simply must know. I cannot help but believe that answers lie elsewhere in the deep roads. We must look.
¿Algún lugar concreto?
Yes, no, I don't know. If it can search the deep roads, I may remember something. If not, then I will have to wait.
Venga, pues nos ha dado la misión que ya sabéis. Las de memorias de un golem.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road.
Venga, quiero ver tus
I'm
mercancías.
sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Venga, quiero comprarte los agentes de destilación. Venga, compramos más frascos y... Venga, perfecto. Ahora tenemos que ir con Morrigan. Espérate, vamos a guardar. Y ahora sí. Cogemos a Morrigan, al enano y al agile. Y queremos ir aquí. A lo de los elfos, para comprar raíces. Que vamos a hacer un montón de pociones. Bueno, parece de momento... Bueno, aquí hay más.
It has begun. Very well.
Raíz mortal.
It shall be done.
Bueno, pues listo. Venga, vamos a seguir con el camino.
I fell.
¿Estás bien?
For a moment there, I thought it was all over.
Necesitas descansar, nada más. ¿O qué creías que se había acabado?
Everything. I will explain everything when we are back at camp. Now is not the time.
Interesante. Se nos ha desmayado la sanadora. Venga.
Why do you occasionally refer to Alistair as a little pike twirler?
Why? Is a little pike twirler taking offense?
It's just a curious...
We are working hard to make enough equipment for all of the hunters. Our armaments will be superior to anything else you find on the battlefield.
Venga, que te quiero comprar raíces.
I am no merchant, but I have
Tenemos
plenty that
casi
you
un
may
montón de
need.
pociones para ir a la batalla. Señor Darkris, hey, me paso a saludar que ya voy a preparar mi stream. Muy bien, campeón. Me alegro de leerte. Yo aquí que le voy a comprar raíces de estas raíces élficas para hacer pociones de curación para prepararnos para la batalla. Venga. Venga, pues vamos a coger...
What now?
Mira, aquí la colega sube de nivel. Nos vamos a poner con 42 y con 31 de voluntad. Siguiente. Catabón. ¿Qué nos ha quedado? ¿Qué nos ha quedado? Ah, la especialización. Cambia formas. Espíritu sanador, guerrero arcano, mago de sangre. Destreza y ataque. Bueno, espíritu sanador. Quedan atributos aquí todavía. Otro más. Venga, cogemos ese. Y listo. Un guardadito rápido. Y vamos a crear pociones. ...99 por ahí. Ahora. De las menores. Otras 99. Este vende frascos. Venga, vamos a hacer otras 99. Bien, vamos a ver el inventario ahora. Está en 65. Vamos a hacer pociones de maná. Polvo de lirio. Venga, más raíces élficas y más frascos.
We are working hard to make enough equipment for all of the hunters. Our armaments will be superior to anything else you find on the battlefield. I am no merchant, but I have plenty that you may need.
$100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Venga, pues volvemos al... Venga, volvemos al campamento.
I think I owe you an explanation for what happened earlier.
Sí, me ha preocupado bastante.
You should know that something happened to me at the tower before you came along. Remember my apprentice, Petra? She encountered a demon in the tower. It would have killed her had I not intervened. I saved her life that day, but I did not survive that encounter with the demon.
Pero estás aquí.
Let me explain fully. I engaged a very powerful demon to rescue Petra. It sapped me of all my energy and will and left me drained. It took everything I had to defeat it. And when I was done, I no longer had the strength to keep my heart beating. I remember my life ebbing away. Everything receded from me. Sound, light. I remember being enveloped in complete, impenetrable darkness. And then I sensed a presence enfolding me and cradling me, whispering quietly to me. The sensation is impossible to describe. I was being held back, firmly but gently, as a mother would a child eager to slip from her grasp. I felt life and warmth flowing through my veins again. I began to be aware of small sounds and the discomfort of my hip pressing into the cold stone of the tower floor.
Entonces no llegaste a estar totalmente muerta.
The Fade contains spirits both benevolent and malicious. The benevolent spirits seldom make themselves known, because they want nothing from mortals, unlike the demons. It was one of these spirits that saved me. Without it, I would be dead. And it has not left me. It is with me, even now, bonded to me. You see, I am supposed to be dead. It is the spirit that is keeping me in this world. And this is not the way of things. Perhaps the spirit did not expect this, but it is weakening gradually. I am living on borrowed time.
¿Cuánto más perdurará el espíritu?
I do not know. I can feel when the spirit weakens, so I should have fair warning. But come, let us not talk about this. There is time yet.
Venga, ustedes, véndeme bote,
I
anda.
can't interest you in this hat? A pair of earrings, perhaps? A cheese knife? I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Vamos a ver. Vamos a las cajas de donaciones. Todas las raíces mortales. Todos los fragmentos de metal.
You will have the best equipped army Ferelden has ever seen.
Ahora entrega gemas a los enanos. Uf, esto no sé. Esto no sé. Y el otro era dinero, ¿no? A los caballeros. 10 soberanos.
Very generous, Warden. If you need staff after the battle, keep us in mind.
Venga, vamos a comprar frascos ahí por un tubo.
If there's anything I can do for you, please, please tell me. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
78, 80. Diez, 12, 12, 12, 12. Venga. Venga, vamos a hacer más poción otra vez.
Indeed.
Yes.
Venga, cogemos
Ah,
a Morrigan.
it's you.
Bueno, pues listo. Pociones llevamos por un tubo. Venga. Guardamos. Y volvemos al campamento. ¡Hey, Miguelito! Lo acariciamos. ¿Tenemos algo para darte a ti? Ah, mira, este es el golem. Vamos a ver. ¿Esto qué es? Resistencia. Armadura 9. Y resistencia espiritual 10. Venga, vamos a poner esta aquí. Perfecto. O sea que los cristales eran para el golem. Vale, este daño 7. Vale, y las armaduras. Venga, vamos a vender todo esto.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Casco pesado. O sea que o es para este. Túnica de arconte. Bueno, y por último ya vamos a ver los PJs. Vamos a ver. El mazo con pincho, nada. Tenemos que encantar la espada de Duncan. Nada, el mazo, nada. Gota de malla pesada y gota de malla pesada. Las gotas de malla pesada las voy a vender.
Something you need? I'm sure either my boy or I can help you out. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Vamos a ver, runas.
Enchantment?
Venga, enchanté, sí.
Enchantment!
Bueno, pues listo. Se acabó.
You are wise
to invest in the effectiveness of your followers.
Venga, vámonos. Vamos a ver, vamos a coger al golem. Para hacer la misión esta del golem. Vamos a coger...
Indeed.
Y a la maga. Vale. Y vamos a ir... a osarmar.
Very well. If it must.
Uf, vaya tela, ¿no? Un equipito de curación.
As you say.
As you like.
Vale. Vamos a coger el golem. Y vamos a ver qué ataques tiene y qué no tiene. Para enterarnos. Y le vamos a poner también sus temas de sus cataplasmas. Cataplasma curativa menor. ¿Dónde está? Aquí. Y equipo de curación menor. Vale, de momento eso por ahí. Y ahora vamos a ver, ¿esto qué hace? Para yo enterarme. Bramido. Actitud activa corazón de piedra. Actitud activa, corazón de piedra. Activa un modo que permite talentos defensivos y concede bonificaciones, armadura y resistencia a los elementos. Más probable que los enemigos cercanos ataquen a Shelly. Bramido, rugido de piedra y estallido regenerador incrementan los efectos. Vale, vamos a ver. Que yo me aclare. Vamos a ir separando. Terremoto. Vale, pues esta va con esta. Estas tres van juntas. Ahora, corazón de piedra. Emite un sonido que surge desde la misma piedra y aturde a los enemigos cercanos. Esto es provocar. Vamos a ir separando porque si no... Vamos a ver, maestría de la roca. ¿Qué es esta? Bien, esto lo que hace, golpea la tierra e inmoviliza a los enemigos que no superen una prueba. Vale. Y este de aquí agarra una roca del suelo y la lanza contra un objetivo. Vale. Corazón de piedra es este. provocar. Separarse. Esta va con esta. Y esto va con maestría de la roca. Bueno, pues de momento esto queda así. Tienen... Vale, no son... Bueno, pues visto. Guardamos. Y ahora las tácticas. Las tácticas de Shell. Propio, cualquiera. Activa golpear con precisión. Bien. Propio, rodeado por al menos 3 enemigos. Terremoto. Rodeado por al menos 3 enemigos. Bramido. Cuatro enemigos. Objetivo alcance entre medio y largo. Bueno, tú vas a ser, en vez de personalizado, tú vas a ser luchador. Bien. Aquí te vamos a poner propio. Si mi salud baja por debajo del 50%, te vas a echar una cataplasma de salud. Bien. Y el otro objetivo, si algún aliado atacado por cuerpo a cuerpo, vamos a usar la actitud de amenazar. Yo creo que con eso de momento irá bien. Bueno, lo probaremos así, a ver qué pasa.